welcome to the Superhumanistic Podcast, where we talk about all things health and wellness. We're back for another episode this week. This week we're going to be talking about the Wim Hof method, mainly just one portion of it, which is the breathing technique that Wim Hof uses. The Wim Hof method is 3 parts: cold therapy, which we talked about last week, a breathing exercise, and then also meditation / yoga as well. So we're going to go ahead and get into this episode. And if you recall, last week we did the cold therapy, which Wim Hof is a big proponent of that. Take cold showers for the last 3 minutes of every shower. We've been doing that for about a year now. And I think you're working your way back up to that. And then we want to go ahead and proceed into ice baths to go to the next level. So, as I mentioned, we've been doing the Wim Hof method, all 3 parts of it for over a year now. So what has been your experience with it so far, Jessica?
Yeah. So I've noticed definitely less anxiety. Like David said, it takes about a good year of practice when I started to notice those changes, but my anxiety has definitely decreased. I'm less stressed. I feel that the breathing has helped me the most, so this pillar is very exciting for me that we're going to review today. But the cold therapy, the cold showers is really nice as well. I'm back up to a minute now, so I'm excited for that. And then I have noticed that, I've been less sick throughout the past year. Like normally I'll get sick in the winter or during like allergy season, but I haven't had really any allergies happening after practicing this method. So there definitely is something to it with your immune system being increased, and I'll continue to keep going.
Sounds good. Yeah, I've been feeling really good off the Wim Hof method. The cold showers have really made me feel good. I feel like it's really given a boost for me mentally, as well as physically, and also with willpower, which we talked about last week. And the breathing method has been really good. Doing it in the morning can kind of give you a boost, and doing it at night can relax you. But why don't we talk about where we first heard of Wim Hof?
Yeah. Well, we kind of mentioned it. Yeah, we kind of mentioned it last week with the show Goop. So it's a show on Netflix with Gwyneth Paltrow. She has her company Goop, and she goes through like a series of different health related topics. And there's this episode about like cold therapy, and Wim Hof was on it, and he was leading a group of some of her co-workers through the breathing exercise and then into the cold therapy as well as meditation. So those are the 3 pillars of Wim Hof. You have your cold therapy, which we reviewed last week. This week we're going to review that breathing, and then next time we'll review the meditation. But it really broke it down in the show, and they showed us the breathing technique, and I got excited. We were watching the episode, and he was like, all right, guys, let's practice this. Go ahead and do as many push-ups as you can. So like we were like, okay. So we went and did some push-ups, and then he paused after you get tired from your push-ups, and he was like, okay, we're gonna practice the breathing. So then we both did the breathing exercise as he walked us through it, and then we redid our push-ups, and we both were able to get quite a bit more push-ups in after this breathing. So I think that really motivated us into getting started with Wim Hof. We were like, immediate change that you can see with just the breathing portion. So yeah, that was how both of us first got into Wim Hof method.
Yeah, it was a great show. I highly recommend it on Netflix. It's real quick, maybe 30 minutes or so. And we also read his book after that show, which we found to be a really good book as well. Goes into the 3 pillars. He talks about how he discovered them, what the principles are, which they have roots in, ancient yoga, the pranayama and all those type of things as well. And he talks about how he was just drawn to the cold water and discovered how it made him feel, and wants to tell others about that method and all the benefits that comes with it. And he talks about the yoga and everything else that goes along with it, as well as getting into the science of it as well, and talking about the different studies. So why don't we also let everybody know what the breathing method is? I mean, how you actually do it.
Yeah.
So maybe we can start off with telling people like what you're supposed to do to actually get through the technique.
Yeah, so there is he puts out a little disclaimer as well, and I agree with this, that you should be in a position where you're very comfortable. You want to be either seated or laying down. You shouldn't be standing during the breathing. You definitely don't want to be driving or like in a pool, because it is round breathing. So in a way you're like hyperventilating and causing your body to go into like a stressful mode. So you want to be comfortable. You want to be in a space where if something were to happen, because you're getting into that stressful state, that you're safe as well. So I tend to sit up in the morning times, and then in the evenings I'll lay down. And then you tend to just like to lay down when you're doing it?
I usually like to sit up if we're on a couch or anything anywhere. I like to just personally look, as long as I have a view of the screen, so I can be able to follow along with the technique, then I'm good. At night we usually do it when we're laying in bed, when we're getting ready to go to sleep. So right before we go to sleep, we'll do it. Mm-hmm. And in that case, I definitely like to lay down.
Yeah. So either sitting or laying down, you want your belly to be able to expand as well. So you don't want pressure or anything to be on your abdomen. You want to take full breaths into your belly and then your chest, and then you're going to exhale out. So how you start is getting in that comfortable position, sitting or laying down, and then the second step then are that you're going to take 30 deep breaths. So into your belly, into the chest, and then exhale right away. And then you're going to inhale right away. So they're called round. It's called round breathing, where you're not taking a second to even relax. You're just in and out 30 times. After your 30th breath, that's when you'll exhale. And then in that exhalation, you stop. So as soon as you let that, the last 30th breath, you let it go, and then you hold your breath for as long as you're able to hold your breath. The video that we watch, so we use a YouTube video of Wim Hof kind of guiding us through. He uses his voice, and then there's a visual. I really do feel that it helps us to remember how deep our breath should be, because we start to follow that bubble that's on the screen. So that really helps with guiding the breath throughout the session. So you do 30 breaths. The last exhale, you hold it for as long as you can, and then as soon as you feel like you need to take in a breath, you inhale, and then you're gonna hold your inhalation for 15 seconds. And then after that 15 seconds, you let it go, and then you start all over. And you want to do this for at least 3 rounds. Wim Hof will say to do it as long as you're feeling comfortable to do it. So he would recommend even more rounds. We do just the 3 rounds, and you feel the effects right after. For me, even just the second round of doing it, and then the third round, I feel it even more. After, you'll feel the sensation of tingling sometimes. What other sensations have you felt while doing?
That's the main one, tingling in the hands and the feet, and also sometimes tingling in the mouth and tongue area. Also, he says that your body may get cold, and I've experienced that as well. Not as often, mostly the tingling. And it's basically, I think in the video that we watch, he has you hold your breath for 1 minute in the first round, and then 1 minute and 30 seconds in rounds 2 and 3. I know you can sometimes hold your breath for longer, a lot longer than I can, that's for sure. And that's essentially it. As you mentioned, don't hold your don't pause or anything like that in between breaths. You're kind of just keeping everything moving and everything pushing forward. Mostly tingling, and that's the main thing that I feel. As you mentioned, very important to sit down. So I've also experienced a little bit of lightheadedness as well at times. And after that, it's more of a relaxation sensation that comes over me. Do you want to have any more information about that, or do you want to proceed on to the benefits?
Nothing more about that. Another thing would be, maybe to try to practice with another person in the room. As David mentioned, sometimes you'll hold your breath even longer. So there were times where he's like, are you okay over there? So kind of having like that check system in place too helps us to make sure like we're doing the breathing properly. But yeah, some of the benefits then. So immediate benefit for ourselves is that relaxation sensation. So my anxiety right after doing the breathing exercise goes away like immediately. I feel very relaxed. I'm no longer stressed about my day, especially in the morning time when I do them. I tend to stress out in the morning and get into like my head a lot. So after doing the breathing exercise, I'm like, okay, I feel so much better and ready for the day. That to me is the largest benefit of this method. But other benefits are your oxygen levels. So your oxygen level isn't increasing. What is happening is that when you're exhaling a deeper exhale. So you have more carbon dioxide actually leaving your body. And what this does is triggers a brain stem that tells your body to breathe. So as you're triggering this in your brain, what happens over time is that you're able to hold your breath for a longer period of time. So even after one round of doing this, that's why the time increases. So like David said, it starts with the 1 minute of holding your breath, and then it goes up to 1.5 minutes. I've even noticed that I can hold my breath way past that minute and a half because your brain has now been stimulated to not have to take as much air in. So your oxygen is actually circulating in your blood a lot better through this breathing exercise. Other benefits would be that it's stimulating that parasympathetic system. So your parasympathetic system is that relaxation system. So like I said, I feel less stressed after doing this exercise. So it stimulates the parasympathetic system, counteracting that sympathetic system, which is that nervous system. So the system that's in the fight or flight mode and causes the stress. So the impact then is that it causes our bodies to be in a reduced stress mode. Other benefits from this method is that you have a faster recovery time from that physical exertion. So that would be the example of the push-ups. After doing the breathing, you're able to then, your muscles are more relaxed, your body's more relaxed, so then you're able to do a harder workout. You can lift more. I'm starting to notice myself in the gym that I'm able to even do more reps and do more reps at a higher weight. Other things that Wim Hof has helped is with my sleep. So it helps to improve your sleep and, as said before, improve sports performance. If you read his book, he's a truly fascinating man. He has accomplished so much physically through going through his method. He has ran in like the hot desert barefoot. He's also ran in the cold barefoot and in like swim trunks. He's held his breath underneath ice water for like a record time. There was another experiment that was complete that I'll let David kind of walk through. But he's really a fascinating man, and his method is the reason that he was able to accomplish so much. I think that's all that I have for the benefits. So I
think relaxation is definitely one of the best benefits. I've noticed I'm able to fall asleep much faster after doing the Wim Hof method right before bed. And when you do it in the morning, it gives you a little boost of energy, kind of wakes you up. So that's always good as well. So we recommend trying to get out in the morning and night, or finding what works best for you. I know I have a morning routine, but we can kind of talk about morning routines in a future episode. Right now, Wim Hof isn't included in that morning routine. It's more of a nightly routine to get me relaxed and able to fall asleep much quicker and get into a nice deep sleep. So I use it more at night. One of the other benefits that I can talk about is also that it makes your blood alkaline, because it causes temporary alkalosis. So during deliberate hyperventilation, the pH value of the blood increases. Normally, blood pH levels are around 7.4, but the drop in CO2 makes the blood significantly more alkaline, up to 7.75. And I'm sure everybody out there has seen the alkaline waters. We have a couple friends that only drink alkaline water. So the temporary alkalosis triggers some physiological changes. You may feel lightheaded as your arteries and blood vessels constrict in response to the disruption and reduction in CO2. You may also experience that tingling in limbs. So, definitely, I think a good benefit there, making your blood alkaline. That's going to help prevent any kind of sickness and disease and those type of things. So, that's another kind of benefit that you won't necessarily notice or feel right away. But if you do it for an extended period of time, as Jessica mentioned, she's noticed less illness, less allergies, those type of things. And I think another great benefit is it does induce kind of a positive stress in the body through short-term hypoxia. Basically, it's called good stress that causes the body to adapt and strengthen and build resilience. So that's going to be great. So that way your flight or flight response and those type of things are more controlled when you're able to incorporate that good stress into your body and really adapt and make sure that your body is prepared for those stressful times, and you're able to handle those better by using this breathing technique as well. So a lot of great benefits. There's some studies out there. One of the main studies that's also featured in Goop is where Wim Hof and some other voluntary patients essentially inject themselves with, basically, I'm not sure if it's what it was exactly, but it was essentially something that can kind of make you sick.
I think it was E. coli, actually.
E. coli. And they used the breathing method, and by using the breathing method, they were able to control various systems in their body, prevent any kind of inflammation from taking over the body and then making the body sick. So there's a lot of great studies out there about how this method works. So we do recommend watching that episode of Goop to get more details about how that study shows that they are able to prevent illness and disease in the body just by using this breathing method to control various nervous systems in the body and prevent inflammation, and from the body kind of attacking that E. coli that was inserted into them. So, as you mentioned, Wim Hof is a pretty unique character, very interesting guy, and has created a lot of feats of strength. So we highly recommend the book and recommend that you give it a try. So I think that's all we have for this episode. Stay tuned for next week, where we'll have another episode featuring something related to health and wellness. We'll surprise you.